Hey guys, thank you very much for joining in again. It's lovely to be of service to you. So thank you all of you who are watching and who are like following me because it really helps me keep going. So thank you very much again. Today's topic will be the rules about changing the purpose of your stay in the Czech Republic. So if you come here under one purpose of stay and you want to change it to another, what are the rules? The thing is that changing the purpose of your stay is not easy. It has some rules you need to follow. Some purposes can be changed easier. Some purposes can be changed in a bit more complicated way. So I'll go through that all now. And hopefully at the end of the live stream, everything will be clear to you and you'll know how to and how not to change the purpose of your stay in the Czech Republic. So generally, you should always keep the same purpose of your stay, which you got your first visa with. So for example, if you get your visa as a business person, like the business visa, then you should only apply for the long-term residence permit under the same purpose, meaning business. So business residence permit. There are some exceptions, which I will cover like in a second, but this is a general idea that you should always keep the same purpose of your stay. It generally makes all the processes easier because if you change the purpose of your stay, even if you do it within the legal guidelines and deadlines and everything, it can still kind of complicate your stay in the Czech Republic because there are different rules which you might not see foresee basically. So let's jump right into it now. The easiest options, switching to the employee card. Basically, there are not really limitations there. So whatever type of visa or residence permit you have, you can always switch to an employee card. There are some minor exceptions, like if you are a kid below 18 years old, there might be a bit different rules. But in general, whatever type of visa or whatever type of residence permit you have in the Czech Republic, you can always switch to an employee card. So not a real problem there. Similar goes for the partnership visa, for the temporary residence permit for family members of EU citizens. Also, whatever type of visa you have, you can always switch to an employee card and there to the partnership visa. And there is one important exception as well, that you can apply for the partnership visa in the Czech Republic even if you're here under a short-term visa or under your visa-free stay. Because for any other type of visa, if you want to make the change, you always need to apply through a Czech embassy, or you need to have a long-term visa or long-term residence permit. Let's put it this way. But this is the only exception, the partnership visa, when you can actually apply for that in the Czech Republic, even if you're here as a tourist under your 90 days visa-free stay or under your short-term Schengen visa. But that's the only exception. But anyway, we are now talking about changing the purpose of your stay. So basically, whatever type of visa or residence permit, whatever your purpose of stay is, you can always switch to the partnership visa. Meaning that, for example, if you come here under the employee card and you find an EU or Czech partner and you start living together, all this, you can switch to the partnership visa anytime. The same applies to students. The same applies to other types of visas. So that's actually the easiest thing to do, to either switch to an employee card or switch to the partnership visa, because there are no limitations basically. Where it starts becoming a bit tricky is with the business purpose of stay. So let's say if you come here as an employee card holder and you want to start your own business and change the purpose of your stay into business, unfortunately, that's not really possible. It's possible after 5 years of a continuous stay in the Czech Republic. So let's say if you've been studying here for 5 years and now you want to switch to a business, you can. But if you've been working here for 3 years and you want to switch to the business, it's not possible. In that case, you would need to let your current employee card or whatever type of visa you have expire, leave the Czech Republic and apply for a business visa from the scratch through the Czech embassy, and the same process as you know. So unfortunately, switching to the business purpose of stay is only possible after 5 years of living in the Czech Republic. One exception there is if you're a student, like a proper student under the 23-24 codes, meaning that you study accredited program in some Czech university. In that case, you can go a different path. If you, for example, study for 3 years, the bachelor's degree, generally you could not switch to the business residence permit because you haven't been here for 5 years. But for students, again, students, not the other purpose of stay, because in that case it doesn't apply. But if you're a proper student, then you can apply for a kind of new type of residence permit called job seeker visa. And from that, you can switch to the business purpose of stay. So it's not, you cannot do it directly unless you have been here for 5 years, but you can use this interim type of visa, the job seeker type of residence permit, and then switch to the business purpose of stay. So generally, you can only switch to business after 5 years of living in the Czech Republic. But in some cases, for example, students, you can do it as well using, for example, the interim job seeker residence permit. Oh, well, yeah, that's, I guess, the most important thing, because there are some rules about family reunification. And for example, if you came here as a married couple and then you get divorced, how long you need to be together to still be able to keep your residence permit, all this. But I don't think I need to go deeper into this, because it's not that common that situations like this would happen. So let me just sum it up. If you want to change the purpose of your stay, you need to follow some rules. The easiest change that can happen is from whatever type of visa you have to an employee card or to a partnership visa. You can do that anytime under any type of visa, long-term visa or long-term residence permit. If you want to switch to the business residence permit, there is generally the 5 years rule that you can only switch to the business purpose of stay after 5 years of living in the Czech Republic legally. Students can kind of shorten the period if they go through the job seeker visa, because it's called job seeker. I actually did a video about that like last week, I believe, because it's called job seeker visa, but it's actually not a visa. It's 9 months long residence permit. And it's not only meant for job seekers, but it's also meant for establishing business. So if you finish your university, you switch to the job seeker residence permit, then you can switch to the business purpose later on, even if you haven't been here for 5 years. Okay, so now your questions, because this was the official part. Today it's gonna be short, but I see that I have some questions, one on or two on YouTube and one comment here on Facebook. So let's answer those. Trinity, finally, you shaved. My neighbor has big mouth. Back to topic. Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy you could make it finally, because you often say that you could not make it and that you just watch the recordings, which is great as well. But I'm happy you could make it. And now on YouTube, even if you have a non-dual employee card, so came for studies with study visa, then changed for employee visa. Can I change to business visa? Okay, so it's a bit complicated story, but I would say that not really, because you always need to fulfill the conditions which are there at the moment when you're applying. So if you're a student, you finish your studies, and before that you switch to an employee card, even if it's the non-dual employee card, then you're no longer a student, and you can no longer apply for the job seeker residence permit, from which you could switch to the business purpose of stay. So if you studied, then you finished your studies, and then you applied for the employee card, and you have the employee card now, and you want to switch to business now, you will need to wait until you reach the 5 years. So you would need to count the whatever 3 years you studied, and then you will need extra 2 years for to qualify, like of the employee card to qualify for the business purpose of stay. Unfortunately, if you missed the opportunity of the job seeker visa, you can only apply for a job seeker visa directly from the student residence permit. You cannot do it like retroactively, that you would say now, hey, I've been working now for 2 years, but I want to get the job seeker visa. It's unfortunately not really possible. So unfortunately, if you didn't use the job seeker to start your own business, then you will need to wait for 5 years. What you can do though is you can get the trade license, like, and be able to freelance in the Czech Republic and still keep your employee card. So if, as long as you keep your job and hence the employee card as well, then you can also get a trade license and freelance as your side activity. So you will keep your main job, and then you will also have the trade license, and you will do the business as a side activity, and that's completely fine. So you don't need to actually switch to the business purpose of stay. You can still stay under the employee card and do the business as a side thing. Or another option, if you no longer want to be employed and you just want to have the business residency, then you can cancel your employee card, leave the Czech Republic, and apply through a Czech embassy for a business visa again from the scratch. But if you've studied here and if you now have an employee card, I believe you're close to the 5 years where you will qualify for the permanent residency. So I would definitely not recommend in doing it this way, and better just like stay in the job for a year more, and then you can switch, then like cancel the employee card and apply again, because that's just not too wise in perspective of getting the permanent residency shortly. Okay, so Lamia, hopefully hopefully you're still there. I cannot see the count on YouTube because I have the phone here and the laptop here. But if you're still there, hopefully this was a good answer for you. And guys, now time for you on Facebook. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. It should ideally be related to the topic, which is changing the purpose of your stay. But if you have some other questions which you want me to answer for you right now, please go ahead, and I'll be happy to answer those. So otherwise, as you know me, I'll start just awkwardly dancing here until you all slowly leave the live stream. So use this time, because I'm here for you. I of course want to share the content I have prepared, but when the part is done, which is right now, there is time for you to ask some other questions. Lamia was still there watching, so thank you very much. I'm happy it helped. So guys, no questions. So at least like write something, let me know that you're watching, because I can see that you're watching, but it's always nice to interact. So let me maybe know where are you from, like if you're in the Czech Republic, and what kind of visa do you have, and if you've already switched the purpose of your stay before, or if you keep the same one. Otherwise you will just need to watch me awkwardly dance. Irena, hi Jan, I send you PM on Facebook, probably should be in your message request folder. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. That unfortunately happens, that some of the messages for you, for those of you who we are not friends on Facebook, if you send me a message, it often goes to the requests, and I often forget to look there. So I'm sorry if you send the message and I haven't replied. I'll check it and will reply after the live stream, okay? All right, so guys, thank you very much. If there are no further questions, if you have some more questions, please type them in and let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. If there are no further questions, I'll be finishing the stream in like 30 seconds. And we'll keep working. So I have so many. If you like, I'm now sitting in the Move to Prague office and doing the live stream from my table. And I have so many like folders of clients which I still need to finish today. So when I finish the live stream, I'll still have like 2 hours of work in the office. So use the time. If you don't have any more questions, I'll be saying bye. Thank you very much for joining. As you know, I come live on Facebook and YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Around this time, it's always one more question, okay? One more question, please, maybe a bit unrelated. If I have non-dual employee card and I resign, is it still 2-month period for a new job search? That's a good question. That's actually a good question. How much time you have to change employer if you are under the non-dual employee card? Honestly, I don't think that there is any time limit like this. So you could, in theory, stay unemployed for like the whole time, the whole validity of your employee card. But then the ministry would not extend the employee card, because you would not be fulfilling the purpose of your stay. Because your purpose of stay is employment, and if you're not employed, you obviously don't fulfill the purpose of your stay. So we generally recommend sticking to the 2 months period as well, to the 60 days, because then you will be safe. But in real life, I believe if you stayed employed for more than half of the period of the validity of your employee card, then it should be still okay. But you definitely should have a job when you're extending the employee card, the validity of the employee card, because then the ministry, if you didn't have a job and you wanted to extend the employee card, that would not work, or it would be very complicated. So you definitely need to have a job when you're extending. And what was before, I would recommend sticking to the 2 months, because you anyway need to, if you have the non-dual employee card, you need to report all the changes to the Ministry of the Interior within 3 days. So if you quit one job, you should go to the Ministry of the Interior and let them know within 3 days. The same if you find a new job. So they will know how long you've been unemployed. So I would stick to the 2 months or 60 days, but officially there is no rule like that. And if you're employed for more than half of the validity, it should be okay. But it's up to you if you want to risk it. You know the ministry. So hopefully that was helpful as well. Thank you, Lamiel, for commenting, because it's very useful. And Trinity, I would like to know about job seeker visa requirements. If you have time, please tell me. Thanks. I believe I did the live stream, or at least the recording for my TikTok or Instagram in the previous week or like before that. So if you're interested in that topic, please find the videos or go to my YouTube. I have all the full videos uploaded to my YouTube or here in the Facebook group as well. So I believe I definitely did the job seeker residency before. But just to give you an idea, it's not the Czech job seeker visa doesn't really work as, for example, in Germany, that you could come here without a job and you would get like 9 months or a year or whatever period of time to find a job. It doesn't work like that. The job seeker visa is only meant for students who finished their studies in the Czech Republic, some accredited courses of some Czech universities, and then they want to stay and find a job. So then if you finished your studies, in some Czech accredited university, and you no longer want to study, but you don't have a job yet, but you no longer study, then you can request for this like job seeker residence permit for 9 months, and that will give you additional 9 months to find a job and switch to the employee card. But it doesn't work the way that you could, if you don't have a job, if you're not in the Czech Republic, that you just can apply for the job seeker visa and come here and look for a job. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So hopefully, Trinity, this was useful. And I have one more question from Ivona Popchevska. Hi, Jan. Thank you for your valuable information. My pleasure. And my pleasure. Once you have switched from student to Živno visa, what are the conditions of keeping it, extending it? Do you need proof that you use your trade license full-time or have some limit of income per month? Okay, that's a good topic as well. I believe I had a live stream about that as well, but like many weeks ago. So please also go to my YouTube channel and you can find it there. But in general, yes, if you switch to the business residence permit and you want to extend it, you need to prove that you've been making enough money on monthly basis. Enough, there is a special calculation for that. In general, if you're living alone and if you don't show the ministry your lease agreement, or if the rent is higher than 9,000 crowns, then the general amount you need to be making after all the taxes and deductions and everything, social security, healthcare, all this, it would be something like 9 plus 4, so 13,000 crowns a month net after all the deductions, the social security, healthcare, income tax, all this. So there is this limit. And another thing is that you need to be able to prove it, like how to say, like very well, let's say. So if you only get paid in cash, the ministry will very likely not see it as a good proof. So ideally, your money should be going to your bank account. You should create invoices for your clients, and you need to keep some table of income, so kind of like a table where you list all your incomes and who paid you, when they paid you, how they paid you, all this. Of course, if you are extending the residency, after you've done your first tax return, so after March of some year, if you started working under the trade license the previous year, then it's easier because the ministry will not want to see any invoices or bank statements or anything like that. They will just want to see the documents, the official documents from the tax office, social security office, and healthcare office. But in that case, you just need to be careful how you do your taxes, because Czechs usually do taxes in the way that they deduct 60% of their incomes as their expenses, and then they don't really need to pay any taxes at all. On the other hand, if you do it the same way, officially you will not have enough money, most likely, unless your income is really high, because the ministry only calculates with the remaining 40% of your income. So you need to be careful about that, especially if you're doing your first tax return, or if you haven't done it yet, then you need to very well prove that you've been making enough money on monthly basis, enough being, let's say, 13,000 crowns per person if you live alone. So hopefully this was good enough. If not, Ivona, please let me know. I'll be happy to elaborate. But again, as mentioned, I believe I have a video about that on my YouTube already. If not, then we definitely have an article about that on our Move to Prague website. So movetoprague.com, like you're moving to Prague, so movetoprague.com. And if you go to the blog section, you will find the exact calculation, how much you need to be making if you're one person, if you're two people, 5 people in the family, everything is there. So movetoprague.com, you can find it there. Ivona, thank you so much. This transition comes for me next year, but I'm slowly preparing. That's actually good, and I really appreciate it, because many people do it the way that they just okay, I'll do this now, and they change, or they do something, and they don't really see the consequences, or they don't plan in advance. So it's actually good that you plan it in advance. So what I would recommend doing is getting the trade license even before you switch to the job seeker, because or as soon as you do that, because the ministry will want to see your income for the let's say last 6 months when you're applying for the residence permit with the business purpose of stay. And if you've just got your trade license before you apply, like a month ago or 2 months ago, you might not have high enough income, and you might not have any income at all, actually. So it's actually better if you know that you want to go the business route, that you will not be looking for employment, then it would be good to get the trade license even now, or next year, but as early as you can, so you can build up your income, and you can have significant proofs for the Ministry of the Interior when the time comes. If you need any more info, please get in touch, and I'll be happy to explain. But again, as mentioned, we definitely have an article about this topic on movetoprague.com website, and I believe I shot a video about it as well. Okay, so of course, if you have some more questions, please feel free to ask. If not, I'll be amazing. Thank you. I wish you a great weekend. The same to you, Ivona. It was a pleasure to answer your questions. Come next time. As mentioned, I do these live streams every Monday and Thursday. They're always about different topics. I always go through the general kind of presentation, and then I give you space to ask questions, and I reply them. And then, of course, if you don't follow me yet, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll really appreciate it, because the numbers there are rising slowly. Somewhere on TikTok, I'm doing pretty well, I believe. I have 8,000 likes and stuff. So for me, it's good. On YouTube, I have 137 followers, which is pretty low, but it's growing faster. So every like or every subscriber I see, I'm really happy about them. So if you don't follow me everywhere, please do, if you find this useful. Okay, thank you guys. One more time, have lovely evenings and beautiful start of the week, and see you Thursday. Bye-bye. I will open TikTok just to follow you. Okay, please do that. And I'll shoot some video just for you, okay? So just comment on one of my videos, say, hey, I did it just for you, and I will send you a personal thank you video on TikTok, okay? So thank you guys. Lovely seeing you. Open the TikTok, Ivana. Bye bye, guys.